This is Bachelorette. This is the second show. I'm Jack here, going to be doing a recap of what happened tonight on The Bachelorette. Now, we're starting to get a little bit more familiar with the characters, and now it's time for the individual dates and group dates. So, this season started off with a pool party. And as everybody was having a good time, she decided to pick up the rose and take off. Now, it was quite interesting because I was wondering, where is she going? But it was like her being the treasure and for the men to go on the hunt. The group of guys that she chose for the pool party had to go through a box and a pail of keys to open up the box to get the keys to the car. Well, the guys really didn't have any patience going through that little obstacle. So one of the groups actually started off by throwing the box and breaking it open, hoping to get a head start. It reminded me a little bit of Amazing Race, which made it a little bit interesting this season. The next thing that they had to do was go to the jewelry store where she was maybe an hour before, where she chose 4 necklaces. Each group had to bring back a necklace to her. Whoever got to her first will get an opportunity to have a dinner date with her, actually in a bank vault. I've never done that before. I don't know how many of you guys ever did that before, but it looked kind of fun. The first guys that got to her was Wes and Brad. Wes and Brad were not really getting along on this adventure. But at the end, they were the first to get to Jillian, where Jillian got to choose who she wanted to spend that time in the vault, having dinner. The guys later on showed up, but they lost the opportunity. And they were quite bitter. As they watched on the monitor, seeing Wes kissing Jillian, they were all dumbfounded. The individual date went to Jake, the pilot. And let me tell you, that pilot is quite a handsome character. Just knowing that he flies planes could turn any girl on. And they seem to be hitting it off pretty well. Well, they had a great, interesting adventure going to a thrifty cowboy store. For their first date, they went to the House of Blues. They had the whole club all to themselves. Jillian was feeling no pain as she got up on the bar with her red little boots and did a little cowgirl and coyote ugly dance on the bar. I have to give her respect, because I would probably do that too. Little hoe down, but she's not a hoe. Jake, the sneaky little devil, as she was answering one of his questions, creeped up and gave her a nice long smooch. And I even fell in love. But my boyfriend is recording this. Don't feel like fighting tonight. At the end of Jake and Jillian's date, she gave him the rose because it was the best date ever. And I actually enjoyed watching that date. It was nice, sweet, romantic, and they danced really great together. So a couple that could dance really good together, usually that's a good formula. Mike decided to be brave and jump into the ocean wearing just his Speedos. It actually melted Jillian's heart. One, I think is very manly. I'm not too sure about him yet, but only time will tell. A character on the show named Kipton said that basically he's never had his heart broken before, which of course I find it hard to believe. He claims he's been the heartbreaker. And the rose goes to Mike jumping in the ocean wearing his Speedos. Tanner P has a really weird addiction to feet, maybe a little bit too much of an obsessive or fetish behavior towards feet. And so far, he checked out Jillian's feet, and sometimes throughout the show, he always wants to touch her feet. So, I don't know how that's going to turn out. There was a guy that she hasn't talked to really at all, and his name is Robbie. Finally, when they got an opportunity to have a little bit of a conversation, Wes, the country singer, which I must say, he does have a rose, decided to still take Jillian away from her conversation with Robbie. I thought that was very rude, and he's coming across quite obsessed. I will be watching you, Wes. When Robbie got pissed off of the fact that he lost the opportunity of talking to Jillian, Wes basically said that he is not going to be backing down, that basically the guy's got to step up. I told you I'll be watching you, Wes. I don't like that kind of behavior. But Jillian, she'll pick up on it. Later on throughout the show, another surprise happens. There's a black box that arrives with paper and a pen for people to write down which guy that they don't want there anymore at the house, or actually having an opportunity of winning Jillian's heart. And everybody voted for Juan. Of course, Jillian was a little bit heartbroken. She's been there before. She's done this show. And instead of listening to the high number of votes for Juan, she decided to keep him and gave him a rose so he would be secure in the running for her heart. There's another character. His name is Brian. He really wanted to stand out so badly that before the rose ceremony, Brian decided to do a striptease, which I was not really turned on. Butt naked, and jumped in the pool. We were all shocked. The men were shocked, Jillian was shocked, and I was shocked. So I could only imagine everybody else that was shocked. Well, after a good 2 hours, Jillian decided to let go 4. It's not an easy experience for her. She always feels like this is a heart-wrenching experience. But at the end, she has to think about who she wants to fall in love with. And this is the way the show goes. The first person to go was Brian. The guy that jumped in the pool. Naked, naked, nude. Everything out the door, like they say in Jamaica. She had also, out of that pick of 25 men, there is a 7'9" man. No, he was really tall. I don't know, I'm exaggerating on how tall he was, but he was pretty tall, like Big Bird tall. And his name was Simon, and basically his English was very English, but at the end, his commentary, it was hard for me to make out. So I have no clue what you said, Simon. But good luck. Jillian left the show talking in French, so I can't really tell you exactly what it is that he said, because I was kind of happy to see him go. But good luck. Matthew, for some reason, you did not really stand in my lineup of men for Jillian, but it seemed that you were taking it pretty hard, but you seem to be a good guy, so I wish you luck. So, next week, stay tuned to a third part of The Bachelorette, hoping that Jillian's getting closer to her dream. Peace out.